Sinky clap. What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the Dust Till Dawn podcast. And today is a very special episode. We're on episode number 3, and we have our very first guest, Miss Moonlit Thea, who is a very good and personal friend of mine, someone I've worked with very closely. Welcome to the podcast. Half a day, Miss Thea, or Althea Engman.
Okay, same thing. For you, it's Althea.
Yay.
Special
She doesn't like her government name.
Only certain people call me Althea.
Why?
I don't know. After I graduated high school, I kind of transitioned to Thea, and ever since I just kind of like stuck with that. And so whenever someone calls me Althea, it's usually someone like close to me, family, friends, or family. And if someone calls me Thea, they're like my friends or just
right
people that I don't know that well.
No, I feel you, dude, because like, you know, my first name, right, is Don RJ.
Yeah, Don RJ. I like calling him Don RJ for fun, just to like mess with him.
Yeah, because we're both Pinoy. You're half.
I'm half,
I'm
yes.
full Pinoy. A lot of people think I'm like I'm half because like I have a very strong Chamorro accent, right? But
You do?
You know when I first started PNC, like 4
The
months before you, people
4 months before me, yes.
people were calling in and they're like, "Hey, is that new reporter from Saipan?"
Okay.
And people are like, "Yeah," they're like, "We can tell."
Yeah, the Saipan accent is strong, but I wouldn't confuse it for like you being Chamorro.
It's because like you hear the Chamorros down south, they have it's similar to like Saipan accent because
Right.
like the Chamorro language is very strong in Saipan. That's essentially it.
Oh, okay, I can tell.
But yeah, when I the only time I get called on RJ is when I'm in trouble, right?
Yes.
And when they get in trouble with you.
Mom calls me Althea. Usually she calls me like anak.
Right.
Like, I'm safe. I'm safe. But Althea, I'm in trouble.
Right. She doesn't hit you with your full government. I'm not going to say it without you being.
No, she doesn't call me that. She calls me, like every Filipino child can like relate to anak.
Right. Sorry, I can actually hear them. So prior to the podcast starting, we were like, can we hear the mic? Like,
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but like I
but,
can hear
like,
the rattling and stuff. But I think it's fine. Just like
Let me try to like be less animated.
no, you're fine. You're fine.
Okay,
It's just
okay.
like
I'll try my best not to hit that.
for our viewers out there, our
Sorry,
dear
guys.
listeners, please click the Amazon affiliate links down below my YouTube. Please get us some funding so we can buy more
the
microphones.
sponsorships. No
Yes.
shame.
No,
We're broke.
no, we're not broke. We just need more money.
Because we're broke.
No, we're not broke. But Thea, you're a journalist. You should know we could always use more money. And
That we're broke.
We're not. To quote my former boss back when we were journalists.
Back when you were a journalist.
When I was Althea is still a current journalist. Quick tangent. She used to be my weather girl, my weather reporter, as well as what beats did you covered a lot? You covered several.
Several. Legislation, lifestyle. I took health sometimes, but I stopped taking health after a certain incident that made me want to cry.
I remember that.
Yeah,
Sorry
I
if
was
you.
like, damn.
So in the future, if you guys would like more unfiltered stuff or more, go on our Patreon when I make it.
The Patreon.
I'm not making it right now because I don't have enough exclusive content.
Okay.
But like later on, and
Yes.
don't worry, Patreon you'll get a cut. All my guests.
I know. I've been told about Patreon.
Yes. No, I will give you like if they subscribe, I'll be like
Stay tuned.
Yes, I got you, Thea. We're all.
Thank you, Don.
Sorry, Thea. So I call her all Thea.
It's okay. He can call me Althea, but if you don't know me that well, Thea's okay.
Normally it's the opposite.
Really? You
Normally,
think so?
normally people will give the nickname only if.
Because people know me as like what you introduced me as, Moonlit Thea. They don't bother to see like the Althea part,
Right.
So they assume my name is just Thea.
I like how you say they don't bother to see. We don't see Althea.
No, you do. It's on my Instagram bio.
Oh, like former media person here, but like, we're still current with my current job. But like,
Yeah.
I really don't read the bio.
Yeah, exactly. So people don't bother to look, is what I'm trying to say. But Thea, which is totally fine. I go by that now. The only time I will go with Althea is like professionally. because I have to introduce myself as my actual name, not my nickname. But I kind of assign myself my own nickname, you know?
No, I feel you.
Which is weird.
No. I feel. It's fair,
fair.
especially like when you've been going by it so long.
Yeah. I mean, 2-3 years? I think.
Yeah, but in your short span of life, like, so within
Sorry, he's a grandpa.
we're, so for those of you who don't know, or Thea within our friend group, our mutual friend group, she goes, but we dubbed her Baby Thea because she's the youngest within our group.
Really, it was Destiny that called me Baby Thea. Y'all
Shout
just
out
jumped
Destiny
on the bandwagon.
Cameron. Shout out Destiny Cameron.
Love you, Des.
Listen to
Extreme
her.
breakup behavior.
Thank you. Stream her, Destiny Cameron, on Spotify, YouTube. Shout out STG Filmmakers for shooting her music videos.
Both very talented people.
Right. We're going to have STG on eventually.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, he
That's an
says
interesting episode.
Yeah.
Keep it PG, Shane.
He is very opinionated, but he's a very entertaining and a very hardworking man.
Oh yes, he is one of the most hardworking person that I know.
Right.
He is on his grind.
Yeah, and for a man that old. Sorry,
Wow.
Shane, you're old.
I didn't say you're old, Shane, but love you, Tanya.
Hi, Tanya. Hi, kids.
Hi, kids.
Sorry, there's like a lot of names and I'm bad with them.
Me too. I'm so sorry if I don't remember your names.
But shout out to them. But Thea is the youngest in our friend group, and then so we dubbed her, or by we, Miss Destiny Cruz dubbed her Baby Thea. So that's just a little insider.
So if you call me Baby Thea, and if you're not Destiny or any one of the PNC people, I'm probably not going to answer you. Only they can call me that.
Right. So also on nicknames, right? So you go by Moonlit Thea,
Yes.
and then I'm gonna give a free shout out your upcoming podcast.
Oh, okay.
Sunset Stories.
We will be creating a podcast very soon with, I'm not going to reveal the host. I'm not even supposed to reveal that I am part of it, actually, Dawn. But that's a little secret. But with other
This will come out in a week. You guys have time.
You have time.
So episode 2 is already out. We pre-record these a week in advance, by the way. But anyway, so you got sundown, sunset, and you got sorry, that's another name.
It's another name for me.
Sundown, moonrise.
Okay.
You're moonlit.
I'm moonlit.
What brought up moonlit? And you have a very strong theme with affinity with the moon and the stars.
I don't know. I've always loved astronomy. At one point in my life, I wanted to be an astrologist. But I didn't follow through with that. But I still love looking at astrology, not like the Pisces, like Leo stuff, more like the constellations and the stars and the planets. Never followed through, but I've always been interested in it. I don't know. It's cliche, but it's pretty to look at. It's very peaceful. It's very beautiful. So I kind of just stuck with that bond to the moon. My old Instagram username used to be something affiliated to the moon, but I had to change it for personal reasons. And Moonlit Thea just kind of stuck. And since I branched to my career in the media and then everything following through, Moonlit Thea kind of just stuck. People think my name is Moonlight because they don't see the Thea part. So they're like, aren't you Moonlight? And I'm like, sure, I'll go with Moonlight.
So there we go, a new nickname for you.
A new nickname,
right?
Moonlight.
And your name on my phone will now be Moonlit. Moonlight. Sorry,
yeah,
dispensa.
It's Moonlit, but people think it's Moonlight, which it's a beautiful name.
Right.
I would so call like my future daughter, maybe not Moon, that's kind of weird, but like Crescent or something.
You can name in Japanese, moon is Tsuki, so you could.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's okay. I was thinking of like this other journalist. Her name is, and that's beautiful.
Right. So while we're on that, speaking of journalists, thank you for the quick segue into that.
Of course, you're welcome.
So in my previous life, prior to my current day job, and prior to what we do now, or what I do now, I was news director for the Pacific News Center. You came on board at a very interesting time. You were fresh out of high school at that time. How did it feel transitioning from not just, I'll break this down. You went from high school this girl, I saw her resume, very academic, very scholarly, AP classes. I too took AP classes all 4 years of high school, and I didn't finish college. So
I'm still in college.
it's okay. There's no time limit on education. We're forever learners, right? So you went from high school, you went into broadcast journalism.
Yes.
You eventually transitioned to the role from a junior journalist to our weather reporter, weather
Yes.
anchor. Excuse me, that's the proper title. And then you became an anchor with PNC with me a few times on the desk for our YouTube viewers. Here's a few clips of us on the desk. But you went into that, and then during the time with PNC, I noticed that you were also doing a few side stuff too. You were modeling. If you see a few, it's no secret. If you go to a few hotels, sometimes you'll see you up there. I see you being a true social media influencer, promoting local clubs, local nighttime scenes, local events.
Support local.
Right, and that's something I stand for. Right, that's why I try to promote a lot of them. That's what this podcast is about. How did that play? Did you see yourself doing this type of actual influence, being an influencer on the social media space? And granted, like I mentioned earlier, you are the youngest one out of our friend group. How does it feel like you're doing this? And this is stuff that it's still fairly new, being a social media influencer. How did that go about?
Okay, well, I did not see myself working for the media specifically as a journalist or working for the news itself. Although I was in like AP classes, I'll be honest, I did it just so I can get the extra 10%.
Same.
So I can get that 100. If I get a 90, it's 100. But I never saw myself, but I took the opportunity when it was handed to me. I learned, I grew. Working for the media is very interesting. You meet a bunch of new people. You get introduced to new opportunities. So for me, I've always loved jumping onto new opportunities, and I thought this job was just made for that, right? It was kind of difficult because, like you said, I'm the youngest one. So I always felt not threatened, but I knew my place, right? Like I knew I wouldn't be able to compete with those who have degrees, who've been in the industry for years. I respect them. I know I can't do that. But it didn't mean like I couldn't do it or I couldn't try to achieve that, right?
It's funny you say that because during our time together at PNC, I mentioned I'm still in the process in getting my degree, right? But I'm not saying what your feelings were not invalid, but remember, our team, was very. We were rambunctious. We were young. I was, oh my God, I'm turning 27 this year. Oh my God. So I'm in my late 20s, but we were a rambunctious young group of go-getters. So it was, with the exception of Miss Destiny Cruz, who did an election prior. That was also her first gubernatorial election.
Yes.
So to say, I think it's not fair to you in the past to say that you couldn't compete. You did compete.
Like I competed, but I'm never gonna be the one to say I did it better or I know better. I respect the people that have gone through all these experiences, who actually went to school for it. I'm not saying I didn't do like a decent job. Obviously, we all tried our best. We use our resources from people who've been in the industry for so long. We made sure to get their opinions. We made sure to get their help. But for me, it was more like I knew my place. I don't want to be like full of it where I'm like, I've been doing this for like a year. I know what I'm doing. No, that's not fair.
Right. But sometimes, in fairness, in the past, we had to kind of hype ourselves up. Like,
of
my
course,
gosh.
you always hype yourself up,
Right.
but always humble yourself at the same time.
Oh, yeah. No, and I looked up to our colleagues too.
Sure.
And now, like, to see what they do and to realize that we were doing the same thing, it only
It's
made
great. It's
that
a great
experience
feeling.
great,
Like, although
better.
we were such a young team and we didn't have that much experience compared to the people or other companies or outlets we were competing with, it's a nice feeling. But I don't want to. There are times where we didn't get the first story, where we didn't get the certain interview that we wanted, or we didn't get the. What is it called? A sneak peek? What is that called?
The exclusive?
The exclusive on the story.
There, you're still a journalist.
Let's not talk about that right now. I wanted to say an excuse, but I shouldn't say it. But
No
even though we didn't
excuses
get
here.
it, I understood that we weren't in this scene for that long, but we still tried our best. And I think that's a lesson that everyone could like learn from or hear from is although you may be competing with people who have years of experience, who may be in a certain industry that you want to work for so long, it doesn't mean you can't achieve the same things or reach that goal, you know? Like, don't discredit yourself. Don't feel like you're less than or that you can't do it just because you're the youngest one or you just started in the industry. That's not fair to you.
Right.
Just work hard for it and you can achieve it.
Right, of course. Now, to take that, transitioning into what you do now on top of like still being a current journalist, it's also you're being an influencer,
Yeah.
right? As I mentioned, you're promoting, you're modeling.
Yes.
How did that? Did you think that transition occurred naturally?
Yes and no. When I was younger, before I graduated, I was always into like posing for pictures. Try a little try hard on Instagram. I'm gonna admit that I was a little try hard, but
Well, look what I got you.
I mean, like, yeah, sometimes you have to fake it till you make it, you know what I mean? I didn't see myself growing at least this fast, but I've always thought that it could happen someday. But I think being exposed to an industry all about the community and media and everything going on, it helped jumpstart it a little faster than it would be if I wasn't part of that community.
Right. So to get into that, and it's gonna be a little bit like not super personal, but it's gonna
No,
be
no, you're good.
it's kind of like a personal question.
Sure.
So, as your former boss too, I would have to be like, and for me, I'm all about like women empowerment. I'm all about
Sure,
post
yes.
what you want to post. It doesn't have to be just it's you want it, you like it, right?
Yes.
What's your advice to women, young women specifically, who are looking to get into modeling, looking to get into becoming promoters
Sure.
or influencers too? A lot of people are saying like you can't be showing your body.
Yeah.
And you're very open. You're
I'm very open.
right. And shout out, here's her socials right here for our visual listeners. For our visual listeners, Dispensa. It's what time now? It's 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
It's 8 o'clock at night on a Sunday. But for our YouTube watchers, here's her socials. But what advice do you have? And because I also had to count, not scold. I'm not going to use the word scold. We had to talk to you.
Yeah.
Because of course, because you work for a private industry,
Sure.
making your certain social posts, we had to be like especially with the weight that you had as an anchor at the time.
Yes. Oof.
It's not even just because you were an anchor. It's also because
You're your face of the company.
Right.
So whatever you do kind of represents the company itself.
right. So what advice do you have for women who are looking to be like, they're posting for them. This is for them. This is what they want to do. Granted, it may be for a brand, maybe for whatever, but it's what they're comfortable posting and they
Yes.
want to be comfortable in their body.
Yeah.
What advice do you have for them?
I mean, for me personally, it's post whatever you want. People are not going to always like it. People are going to say certain things about you or judge you. But at the end of the day, their opinions are not going to do anything for you. You keep doing what you do. You keep posting what you want to do, whether it's a certain style, whether you're showing a lot or not a lot. If you're comfortable with it, that's more power to you, not other people. Because people always have opinions, regardless. You can't make everybody happy. But if you stay true to your brand, to what you like, what you do, it's going to reflect on yourself and on your social media, I guess. And on top of that idea, never for me. I just once you start growing, never lose yourself. Never think you're better than anybody. No, don't think that you're this and that, because then it'll reflect on your social media. Just stay true to yourself and what you really want to do and what your goals are. Because it reflects, when you have bad energy, it reflects to the camera, through the screen. If I didn't know you this well, the awkwardness will probably be shown through the screen. So everything that you do is a reflection of you. But people will always judge you, regardless. But at the end of the day, what do they matter? What are they going to do to you? Nothing. Because they're nothing.
Well, here's my humbleness going out the window. You know, I'm Don Sulat.
Oh, yeah, you're Don Sulat.
We wouldn't be awkward.
Whatever.
No, but jokes aside, you know, that's great. That's some great advice. And I want to go more into detail about that, but we'll go right into that right after this quick break.
Quick break.
Welcome back to the Dusk to Dawn podcast. Nice short intermission. Thea, it's been like 5 minutes.
It's been 5 minutes. Yes.
And a lot was discussed during those 5 minutes.
A lot.
Again, when I open the Patreon, that's when you guys can see that.
Whatever.
But yeah, so to go back into, sorry, my phone is just so all over the place. But to go back into it, so great advice on future young women.
Thank you.
Future young women, I'm sorry. On young women, for young men looking to become future social media influencers, looking to join the space that you also have. Now, how did you go from, because obviously you had to do some work for free at the beginning, or like not as high compensated. We don't have to talk about how much you've been compensated.
Sure.
Right? But how did it go from someone asking you to do and we're not going to include me asking you this still, asking you to do.
I'm charging you next, Don.
No, please don't. Please don't. Subscribe to our Patreon. You want to see our shoots. But again, I'll get that out. But how do you go from you working for cents on the dollar or sometimes free to you now being paid? How did that process work? How did you negotiate your, granted, please do not take this sentence out of context, but how did you negotiate your worth as a social media influencer?
No, that's fair. That's a fair question. Don't worry. I'm not going to attack you for it. At the beginning of the Guam community and the photographers here, they're very open to working with new models. So I started working with a bunch of local photographers, and the more you work with them, the more exposure you get, the nicer pictures, you know, all that kind of stuff. Eventually, I've gotten people asking me from different brands on island to work. Only a few times they asked me how much I wanted, but for the most part, they already offered a certain price.
And do you negotiate from there? Do you are like, that's too low, that's too, don't say that's too high, that's too low for what you feel like the work's low? Or do you just,
I just kind of take it. For now, although people may think that I've been in the scene for so long, it's honestly probably been like a year or two only.
You know why though? It's because you're so consistent.
Stay consistent. That's the one thing you need to do. Stay consistent with your work. But I never. It's local stuff, you know. So they offer me money. I mean, I'll take it. But for most part, I'll do it for free. Doesn't mean I want to do it for free. Okay. But support a local kind of vibe, you know.
But to get into that, sorry to interrupt.
No, you're good.
But like, you know, you and I have had conversations in the past where you know me, I have a watch tattoo for crying out loud, and I sold watches. I'm very big on horology, and I'm very big on your time is money.
Yes.
Right, which is why I'm very appreciative of your time on this podcast.
He's paying me after this.
I'll compensate her
with food.
She ate before this podcast. Eventually,
he owes me dinner.
Hey, dalai. But like, to get into that, like, I'm very big on supporting locals. That's why, again, sure. I really want to highlight people. But do you have a strategy? I guess the question is, what's your advice on not just women, but upcoming social media influencers on finding what you feel you're worth in terms of monetary compensation, or even just compensation in general?
What I like to do, well, I've been lucky to be associated with other people who've been in the industry longer than me, and I've kind of just asked their help for how much they charge, right? For me, it's more if it's for a private business that doesn't really support anything local related, I'm going to ask for a price. I'm going to make sure it's worth their time and my time. But if it's for like a project that involves the island and Guam itself, I really don't expect compensation, because Guam kind of like is the reason why I was able to be in the scene so fast, so consistently, because I guess Guam is very welcoming to that kind of thing. Right.
And, you know, we were talking about this during the break, and even like back when we first met each other many moons ago, Miss Moonlit. That's a lot of moons.
Oh, you're so funny.
I know, huh? Funny looking too.
Yeah, I know.
I know, that's why she left me. Anyway. Anyway, like to get into that, snap, I'm blanking out.
He's blanking out.
Sorry,
Terrible.
I know, huh? But to get into that, like you talk about, we talked about in the past how we're both not from Guam, but do you feel like Guam? Obviously with your earlier sentiments, you attribute to who you are right now, the successes that you've had to Guam.
Oh, definitely. I feel like I would not be getting the same experiences that I am getting on island if I were to still be back in the States where I lived for a while as well. Guam, it's easy to get opportunities on Guam, but it's not handed to you. You have to take it. You have to seek out for it. But once you're in, you're in. Once you continue to work hard, you stay consistent, you're in definitely. It's a very small community, but it's a very loyal community. It's like a give and take. You work hard and they'll reward you.
They'll reward you, yeah. And same here as freelancing photography, and to talk about the last episode I had, I was talking about, I'll just mention his name. In episode 2, I didn't mention his name, but I really highlighted his work ethic. And he's someone I'm not sure you've worked with in shoots, but I'm pretty sure, well, I'm not pretty sure.
I've heard in passing.
No, we've taken photos with him. It's Brian Can't Shoot on Instagram.
I love Brian.
Here's his,
I saw yesterday.
I saw him on Friday. We saw him Friday night. Hey, if you see us out, say hi.
Say hi, but don't expect us to know your name. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
A quick tangent, like people talk, I'm not trying to have a big head. I naturally have a big head, but
clearly.
See what I deal with? You see what I dealt with when we were in the news? But when I was her boss, but shoot. People will the tangent would be like people talk, and I appreciate the people.
I love the people talk to me,
right? But I feel so bad when they don't say their name.
Yes, because it's like I may have met you. For me, I think I'll definitely remember you if we had a conversation. If we'd met multiple times or just when we meet that one time, it's a conversation. But if I meet you through a mutual friend or through social media, please don't expect me to know who you are. Introduce yourself, because I will introduce myself still. Even if you may know my name, if you address me as, "Hey Thea," I'll be like, "I'm so sorry, I'm not really I don't remember," and I'll just be like, "Hi, I'm Thea," once again, because I'm not gonna assume that everybody knows me.
Right.
That's dumb.
Right on, that's fair. And then I've got into the habit too. When people talk, they'll be like, "Sorry, can I please get your name?"
Yes, of course. It's not rude. Right.
And sometimes I'll be like, "I'm sorry, I don't remember it," because they could have met me before and I said hello.
Yeah.
And I don't forget a face, but I usually forget names.
Yes.
That's just me. But to go and to bring it back on with Brian, right? In episode 2, I was talking about his work ethic and how homeboy would be going out to clubs, out to parties, out to clubs, out to bars. Events. He'd be a fly on the wall working for free.
Consistency is key.
Posting. And then I talked about how in the past I would do the same thing, but not to that level of grinding.
Yes.
Right. So to me, I would be like, how come I don't get these opportunities? In the past, I would have small thoughts here and there, but I realized he earned, and not to say he never earned it, not to say I didn't earn whatever opportunities I got, but for his doors to be open, it's because he would go out, he'd rub shoulders, he would elbows with people. And I think that's really what it is all about,
Yeah.
And obviously you're okay with working for free.
Of course.
But there's this whole debate online, nationally, internationally about should you work for free? And I think, and I'm a big advocate, I'm a big pusher for, if you don't have a portfolio, you don't have anything to show. You don't have anything to show for your work. How can you say your work is worth X amount of dollars? Is that something you similarly share?
Yes. So I feel like if they're asking me to do something that is in my field, whether it's not too specific, because I've had it before where I had to argue my worth to a certain local company. We met in the middle eventually, which is totally fine. But sometimes you have to stand your ground. You have to argue your worth, and that's with consistency and experiences to show for. But again, for me, if it's a local thing that we're trying to do to support local businesses, a local organization, I'm not gonna be $300 an hour. No, I'm not gonna do that. But just have to, if you know your worth, but don't, like I said, stay humble. I think I know you should know your worth, but also know that you're not there yet if you're just starting out, If that makes sense to you?
No, I feel you. Because and I mentioned the podcast before that I would charge cents on the dollar, and I'd be like, I could have charged more, which is why. And to bring it back to what you mentioned earlier too, you were talking about how you would ask fellow people in this space that you're in, how much did you charge? How much was this worth?
Yes.
How much, whatever it may be. So do you? I think, and I don't know if you share the same sentiments, that you should do your own research and see what people were charging when they first started out.
I do believe you should do your own research, but then you have to consider where you're at as well. Guam is small. It's still small. But pay your worth, right? But have something to show for it on why you deserve it. Because there's a lot of people that are just looking for handouts just because they think they're this and that. And I don't like those people. I really don't.
You don't like those people, I get it. But to bring it back to on Guam is still small. Do you think, and a lot of people, a lot of fellow photographers, videographers, the arguments like Guam saturated with photographers, videographers, which yes and no. And you can also say there's a lot of Instagram models, a lot of media influencers, men, women, non-binaries, etc.
Yes.
But there's a lot of upcoming stars. Do you think? Granted, Guam's like 30 miles, right?
I feel like 30 miles something per hour.
Right.
Per hour. 30 miles long.
Clearly, geography was not our strongest suit.
Clearly not. Sorry.
But do you think that because it's so saturated, do you think there's still enough? I tell photographers, videographers, there's enough to eat for all of us. There's enough gigs. Do you think there's enough in your space?
Yes, I feel like there is. But again, you have to show for it. You have to work for it. You can't expect it to be handed to you just because you have a certain name, because of you think you're pretty or whatever. You have to work hard for it and stay consistent. Like what you mentioned with Brian, he went out of his way to go to all these events, work for free, and make sure that people know what he can do and learn from it. He made sure to be I'm worth this and I can provide this for you. I've done it multiple times. I've stayed consistent. I've shown my dedication to the craft itself. But some people expect I did it once, I can do it again, but for a price. You know what I mean?
Right. No, I get.
I think it's
I get if you do it one time.
My words aren't the best, but it's more stay consistent to your craft, and then it'll just kind of speak for itself.
Right, speak for itself, of course. And if you did one time, the next time you could produce similar or better quality.
Yeah, you learn. We mentioned it earlier during the break. It was you're always learning or something like that.
Yeah, that was before the break.
Oh.
But yeah, oh my gosh, keep mental notes. You're a journalist.
That's your job, not mine.
You're a journalist. Oh my god.
I'm not a journalist today.
We're on call 24/7.
Not me. I'm hourly. I am an hourly worker. Off the clock means off the clock.
Hey, to quote our old boss, the person who was hired on me, we don't go into this for money.
Never mind him.
You're bad.
He left me. He hired me and left me after a week.
Not that one. The one who...
Which one? Wait, never mind.
I'm going to say that one's name. Wayne, we love you.
I love you, Wayne, but you left me with him.
Hey, man.
Love you, Don.
And look where you're at.
Next to you still.
On a couch with me 3 years later.
Consistency is key.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you, friends, just stay consistent and you too can end up
next to a girl.
With Miss
Wait, give me a hint.
Man, dude, if you got the 60 shutter speed joke, Shane, if you listen to this, he'll get that. Okay.
Bright side?
No, in the morning.
Oh, the one. Oh.
No, okay, that's the biggest hint I'll give you.
The mornings?
Right before the bright side.
Yeah.
Same time with.
Yes.
On that station.
But I never got to do it because I didn't want to wake up that early.
Okay, he wasn't.
Oh, he?
Yeah, he. My gosh, this is why the patrons.
We don't want to insert names. I'm trying to figure.
Okay, so this person, I'm gonna bleep it out. So, okay, wait, I'm gonna bleep that out.
You listen to him?
No, but I'll bleep that whole sentence out. for our Spotify listeners, for our YouTube listeners. You're YouTube. Oh my God. Well, YouTube has YouTube music.
Continue.
Sorry, my ADHD friend. My ADHD. Remember, I'm diagnosed. You were there for that.
Okay.
But you would say that we're not coming into this for money.
Sure. Yes, I agree with that.
And I said this when on Career Day too. I said you're not gonna be unless you're like these big name anchors or journalists. You're probably not gonna make
again consistency and years in the making.
Right, but it depends on the market, right? It depends on what market you're at. But do you think that in our space that you gotta love what you gotta do?
Yes, you have to love what you do. Sometimes it's boring. It's not always what they see on the it's not always like your lowest lane, okay? You're not covering the most interesting news, superheroes, crime fighting, whatever. It's not always that, okay? You have to love what you do because there are times where it's going to be worth it. You're going to feel that rush of energy that, dang, I just did all that. I made sure that was possible. I think it's with every job though, or most jobs.
Right. Not to like single it out to what we did back in the past, but now to bring it into what you do now and to kind of like wrap this thing up. Where this is the longest podcast. Shout out to all of you staying on. Shout out to Thea's followers.
Sorry, I know this is long, but just eat some ramen and listen to it.
Right, listen to us on your drive home. But like, as we were nearing the wrap up point, what I know I asked for your advice earlier, but like, I was there for. I was there for you, Thea. But I was there when like.
I made sure he was there for me. Yeah. I forced him.
I had no choice.
Don, help.
Right. But I witnessed, I think that's a better sentence. I witnessed, the criticisms from both the news when you would be anchoring. I witnessed also like you would tell me critiques on your socials. What do you have to say? Like what's your advice on criticism? Because granted, we need criticism,
Sure,
you
it makes
critique,
you better.
Right, you critique my work, I critique your work. We'd give each other feedback. But it's one thing if it's coming from friends, right? It's coming from people we know. We take it with a grain of salt and it hurts less. So it may hurt more depending on... I send my best friend, I send her like covers. I'm like, does this sound good? And she's like,
please don't send me covers.
No, I won't. But like, I'll send her covers. I'll be like, how do I sound here? And she's like, you're off tune here. Yeah. You're off beat there. Yeah. And I'm just like, that hurt. Okay, but like,
I mean, it makes you better.
Right, but depending on who you talk to, it may sting more. But like,
how do you handle criticism?
How do you handle criticism from like people who don't? We're just peanut butter and jealous of what you do. They don't Scooby Dooby do what you do.
Because you are in the eyes of the community and the media itself, always take in criticism, always improve from it. There is a difference between criticism that's better for you and just those hating on you. Like for me, one of the criticism I got from the viewers and my coworkers, my bosses was. Back then, I spoke very, very fast. Like
back then.
Very fast. Okay, better now. I've been able to control myself in front of a camera. But I did speak very fast, and when I was in front of a camera, I would like move my hands all over the place.
Oh, I remember that.
Yes. There was like during Liberation Day parade, I would just like this.
But that's not fair to you at that time because you my bad. Here's the Instagram post.
Oh my gosh. That went viral to be honest.
Did it? So
56 views, I think.
Okay. No, I don't know about the real, but here's the story. Like obviously no audio, but like for our YouTube viewers, where I sent her out I sent the team out, not to single her out. I sent the team out to the first Liberation Day of Guam, post-pandemic, post-COVID-19 pandemic, and they got rained on.
I was drenched, but it was okay. What I'm trying to say is I take criticism when it betters me. But when it's just hating on me, what I'm saying is there's certain criticism that you take to better yourself, and there are ones that you don't take because it doesn't have to do anything with your skills or your job. It's more of a personal attack based on their own opinions. Like, don't wear this, don't wear that, because I don't like it. I don't think it's professional or something like that, or it's too much. I'm never gonna take that advice. My advice would be talk slower, research more on a certain topic before you talk about it. Go into more detail, structure your this and that better. I'll take that criticism because it's going to help me better. I'm not going to be like, wow, this person doesn't even know what I'm doing. How dare this person tell me what to do about my job? No, that's really not fair because they're the ones watching. They're the ones listening to you. And they're the ones that are staying tuned to you for a reason.
Snap.
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 But
Snap, girl.
yeah, there's two types of criticism. One that betters you and one that's just a personal attack. You need to be able to differentiate which ones it is because not everybody's going to like you and what you do. But if it's to better yourself career-wise or personal-wise, then take it if you want. But if it's more of a personal attack to what you like to do, what you find, what you feel confident in, what you are interested in, don't listen to them. It's just like one person out of like 100 who doesn't like you. But 99 of them love you.
I would hope so.
I would hope so.
But final question as we wrap up. You mentioned that you're still in school. You're at the University of Guam. And, your lifestyle, it's, oh my gosh, sorry. It's
It's long, but
it's 8:39 on a Sunday night. I don't know your school schedule, but you work 2 jobs. You go to school full-time?
Part-time, I think. I have
How many credits?
There's 3 credits each.
So you're a full-time student. So to be considered full-time, you need, I don't know it's changed, but you need 12 credit hours a semester.
Yes, I'm full-time.
So you go, and back then I was working full-time, I was going to school full-time prior to the COVID-19 pandemic. And it was a difficult thing especially because I live alone, right? But it was once I got the schedule down, like go to work from X hours to that hour, it was easy to fall into a schedule. But with you, sometimes it's not scheduled. Like it's 8:30, I get 8:40 on a Sunday night. You just came from a shoot. And then I don't know what you're going to do afterwards, but how do you balance out your schedule? Oh my God, future me, you better zoom in on that. What was that, girl? Oh my God. But yeah, how do you balance your school life with your work life? Social life?
I think since I started PNC right after high school, I had the same exact schedule. But I also started my other job the same time I started at PNC.
Oh yeah.
So everything was consistent. The only thing that changed was school. So nothing really, like I've had that same schedule for the past 2 years. I stay consistent to it. I've dedicated to it. Now, I'm not going to say I'm the best student. There are times where I don't turn in work or I'm like, oh no, it's due in 1 hour and I'm just doing it now. I wouldn't recommend it for everybody because even I've done it for 2 years and I'm still not on track all the time. But I always try my best. I always stay consistent and I have a goal in mind kind of thing, So I don't do something unless I know I'm able to handle it and do it. But for me to be able to handle and doing it, it's more like setting expectations for myself, or not. No, what is that another word? Having manageable expectations for yourself.
Yeah, I get that.
That's why I'm like 4 classes, I'm fine. Maybe adding a 5th one, no. Maybe adding another job on top of my other night job, crazy, insane. So it's like making sure I can handle it, but also finding other things to help me, like another outlet, whether it's going out or doing some of my hobbies outside of that work that like help you maintain that schedule. Because after a while, it gets like stressful and boring, but having some breaks in between does help you like get back to point A. That makes sense to you.
That does make sense.
Good.
And as we wrap up, anything else you'd like to say to my dear listeners now who have been here since day one and my future ones, thanks to you?
Stay tuned for more lovely like conversation topics like this. Don is never boring, although me and him argue a lot, but it's because it's entertaining and fun. So he'll always have something up his sleeves to keep you guys captured into the camera. But stay tuned for more things. Stay tuned for more things related to me. That's my little plug there. But yeah, just, I don't know what else to say, but just keep watching and stay tuned and learn from everything that we talk about, I guess. We may not be the most qualified people to tell you.
No,
we're not the most qualified people to tell you what to do, probably, but because we're all human beings, right?
We're all human beings.
We're human beings. We all experience like similar issues and things with life, and I feel like if we can all relate to something, it just helps make you feel more like you're not alone. Because like I feel like there's some relatable things that we talked about, and Dawn has talked about, and Dawn will talk about in the future. And I don't know.
Stay tuned for that.
Stay tuned for that. I think this podcast, because they're just very unfiltered in a way, and there's like you can go off about any topic really from one conversation to another. That it just like helps you just relatable, and always
Right.
being relatable is very comforting.
I try.
Never mind. Don't stay tuned.
Dale.
Stay humble.
I try. But anyway, that does it for this episode. Thank you guys so much for listening. Shout out to Miss Althea Engman. Follow her on her socials at Moonlit, not Moonlight, Moonlit. How do you spell it?
Moonlit Thea. Moonlit. M-O-O.
Moonlit?
Moonlit. MOONLIT. Period. THEA.
On her socials. Thank you again, Thea, for coming on board.
Thank you, Don, for having me.
And until next time, stay churchalu. Adios.
Bye.